The Master Key, the complete guide to Hermetic mastery. Introduction, the ancient awakening. There is an ancient saying that has echoed through the vaulted halls of mystery schools for millennia. When the student is ready, the master appears. If you are watching this, if these words are hitting your ears at this exact moment in time, it is because you are no longer content with being a pawn in the game of life. You are ready to become the architect. Today, we are diving into the deepest well of occult wisdom known to humanity, the Seven Hermetic Principles. These are not mere philosophies or New Age affirmations. These are the mechanical blueprints of the universe itself, derived from the legendary emerald tablets of Hermes Trismegistus, known to the ancient Egyptians as Thoth, the god of wisdom. These 7 laws form what is known as the Master Key. This key does not just open one door, it opens every door in the Temple of Mysteries, from the secrets of wealth and health to the very nature of the soul. For centuries, this knowledge was kept behind closed doors, shared only in whispers between initiates. But we live in an age of revelation. Today, modern quantum physics is finally catching up to what the Hermetic masters knew 5,000 years ago. We are going to bridge that gap. We are going to look at the intersection of ancient mysticism and particle physics to show you how to master your own reality. Prepare yourself. We are about to go beyond the veil. Principle 1. The Law of Mentalism. The first pillar, the foundation upon which all other laws rest, is the principle of mentalism. It states, the all is mind, the universe is mental. What does this truly mean? It means that the fundamental reality underlying everything we see, touch, and hear is not matter. It is mind. The ancients called the source of all existence the all. You might call it God, the universe, the field, or the matrix. Regardless of the name, the truth remains. The universe is a mental creation of the all. Think about your own life for a moment. Everything that exists in your room right now, the chair you sit in, the device in your hand, the clothes on your back, started as a thought. Before the engineer built the phone, they had to see it in their mind. Before the architect laid a single brick, the building existed as a mental blueprint. The physical is always the shadow, the mental is the substance. This is where science gets fascinating. Consider the double-slit experiment in quantum mechanics. When physicists fire electrons at a screen, the particles behave like waves of probability until a conscious observer looks at them. The moment the mind interacts with the experiment, the wave collapses into a solid particle. This is the scientific proof of mentalism. Observation creates reality. Consciousness is not a byproduct of matter. Matter is a byproduct of consciousness. If the universe is mental, then your life is a projection of your dominant mental state. Most people live as victims of the world, not realizing the world is a mirror. If you want to change the reflection, you don't grab the glass and try to scrub it. You change the person standing in front of it. You are a spark of the universal mind. When you imagine, when you intend, when you focus, you are using the same creative power that birthed the stars. To master mentalism, you must begin a mental diet. You must guard the gates of your mind. If you allow junk thoughts, fear, lack, anger to take root, you are literally coding a junk reality into your experience. The master knows that by changing their mind, they change the very fabric of their world. Principle 2. The Law of Correspondence. The second law is perhaps the most famous, the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. This law tells us that there is a harmony, an agreement, and a correspondence between the several planes of manifestation, life, and being. The same laws that govern the orbit of the planets govern the orbit of the electrons around an atom. The universe is fractal in nature. If you understand the small, you can understand the large. This is the bridge between the spiritual and the physical. When we say, as above, so below, we are acknowledging that your external life is a perfect correspondence to your internal state. If your outer world is chaotic, if your finances are a mess, your relationships are toxic, and your health is failing, it is a direct reflection of a chaotic internal above. Think of a pilot using a flight simulator. What happens on the screen above is a direct correspondence to what the pilot is doing with the controls below. In the same way, Your subconscious beliefs are the controls. If you believe you are unworthy of success, you're below. Your physical reality will reflect that belief with uncanny precision. The power of this principle lies in its ability to give you a diagnostic tool. You don't have to guess what your subconscious beliefs are. Just look at your life. Your bank account is a correspondence. Your social circle is a correspondence. Your physical vitality is a correspondence. To use this law, you must work on both planes simultaneously. If you want to fix your business, don't just work harder on the below, the physical tasks. Work on the above, your mental image of yourself as a leader. When the internal and external are in alignment, resistance vanishes. The macrocosm and the microcosm are one. Principle 3, the law of vibration. The third principle is the key to movement, the principle of vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Modern science has confirmed this beyond a shadow of a doubt. If you look at a piece of solid wood under a powerful enough microscope, you will see that it isn't solid at all. It is a swirling mass of molecules, atoms, and subatomic particles, all vibrating at a specific frequency. Even empty space is filled with vibrating fields of energy. The difference between different manifestations of matter, emotion, and spirit is simply their rate of vibration. The higher the vibration, the lighter and more spiritual the object becomes. Pure spirit vibrates so fast that it seems to be at rest, just as a rapidly spinning wheel appears to be standing still. On the other end of the scale, gross matter vibrates so slowly that it also appears to be at rest. This applies directly to your emotions and your results in life. Fear, shame, and guilt are low vibration states. They feel heavy because they are heavy. Love, joy, and gratitude are high vibration states. They feel light because their frequency is closer to the source of all creation. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the tension even though no one was speaking? You were sensing a vibration. Have you ever met someone who seemed to radiate good vibes and attracted opportunities effortlessly? They were vibrating at the frequency of abundance. You are a biological radio station. You are constantly broadcasting a signal, and you are constantly receiving signals that match your broadcast. If you are broadcasting, "I am not enough," you will tune into people and situations that prove you are not enough. To master this law, you must learn to change your vibration at will. This is called mental transmutation. Through music, movement, meditation, and focused thought, you can raise your frequency. When you change your vibration, you literally disappear from the reality of your old problems and reappear in the reality of your new solutions. Principle 4, the law of polarity. The fourth law is the secret to emotional mastery, the principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. This principle reveals that what we think are opposites are actually just two ends of the same thing. Look at a thermometer. Where does cold end and heat begin? There is no line. There is only temperature. Cold is simply the absence of heat. They are the same thing, just at different degrees of vibration. The same is true for light and dark, large and small, and most importantly, love and hate. Love and hate are not two different things. They are the same. Emotion at different ends of the spectrum. This is why it is so easy for a passionate relationship to turn into intense anger. The pole is just swinging. The master uses this law to reach mental transmutation. You do not try to kill a negative emotion. You cannot kill cold. You can only bring in heat. In the same way, you don't kill fear. You slide the scale toward courage. You don't kill poverty. You slide the scale toward wealth. If you are feeling a low vibration emotion, don't fight it. Fighting it only gives it more energy. Principle of mentalism. Instead, realize that the pole of the positive emotion is already present within the negative one. Focus on the positive end of the scale. By concentrating on the higher degree, the lower degree fades away. You are simply changing the key of your mental music. Principle 5, the law of rhythm. The fifth principle governs the timing of the universe, the principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing. To the left, rhythm compensates. Look at the world around you. The seasons change from summer to winter and back again. The ocean tides come in and go out. You breathe in and you breathe out. Civilization rises and it falls. Even the stars have life cycles. This is the rhythm of the universe. Most people are victims of this law. When the pendulum swings towards success, they are happy. When it inevitably swings back towards setback, they fall into despair. They are constantly being tossed around by the tides of life. The Hermetic master, however, learns the law of neutralization. They know that the pendulum swing is a law, but they don't have to be dragged along with it. Imagine a pendulum swinging. If you are standing at the bottom of the arc, you are hit by every swing. But if you rise above the pendulum, if you polarize yourself, at the higher mental plane, the pendulum still swings, but it swings under you. When you are in a high period, the master doesn't get arrogant. They know the rhythm will eventually swing back, so they prepare. When they are in a low period, they don't get depressed. They know the swing toward the positive is already on its way. They maintain a state of unshakable poise by refusing to let your emotions be dictated by the rhythm of external events. You become the master of the swing. Principle 6. The law of cause and effect. The sixth principle is the law of responsibility, the principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. In our modern world, we love the word luck. We say someone was lucky to get a promotion or unlucky to get into an accident. The Hermetic teachings tell us there is no such thing as luck or chance. Everything is a result of a cause. Most people are effects. They are like billiard balls, being hit by the cue of the world. They react to the weather. They react to the news. They react to their boss's mood. They are the effects of causes set in motion by others. The master, however, strives to become a cause. They realize that by controlling their thoughts, mentalism, their vibration, and their internal state, correspondence, they are setting causes in motion. Think of your life as a garden. If you see weeds, effect, it is because seeds were planted, cause. You cannot change the weeds by shouting at them. You can only change the harvest by planting new seeds today. Every thought you think is a cause. Every action you take is a cause. If you don't like the effects in your life, stop looking at the results and start looking at the inputs. Move from being a reactor to being a creator. When you dominate your own mental space, you become a motive power instead of just a moved object. Principle 7. The Law of Creative Polarity. The final principle is the law of creation, the principle of creative polarity. Creative polarity is in everything. Everything has its active and receptive principles. Creative polarity manifests on all planes. This has absolutely nothing to do with biology, physical form, or identity, and everything to do with pure mind energy. In everything that exists, from an atom to a galaxy, there is an active force, the transmitter, and a receptive force, the catalyst. This is the yin and yang of Taoism, the push and pull of electromagnetism. Creation cannot occur without both. The ancient texts define these energies with symbolic archetypes. Let's look at how this manifests in your own consciousness to create results. 1. The active principle, symbolically will. This is the force that directs, initiates, acts, and builds. It is the focused beam of attention that decides what to create. It is the seed thought, or the original idea that is projected with intention. Without this active push, the universe remains dormant, full of potential but devoid of action. 2. The receptive principle, symbolically creativity, or the womb of mind. This is the force that receives the seed, processes it, nurtures it, and brings it into being. It is the deep well of the subconscious. Without this receptive capability, the active idea has nowhere to take root. The subconscious does not argue or use logic. It receives the focused seed from the active mind and immediately begins the process of manifesting it. The video mentions the symbol of the alchemical marriage. Within your own mind, your conscious awareness is the active force. It selects the goal. It holds the focus. Your subconscious mind is the receptive force. It receives that mental pattern and gestates it into your physical reality through intuition, opportunity, and behavior shifts. If your life is not in balance, look at this internal polarity. If you operate with only active energy, you become a machine that is constantly busy, grinding, and pushing. You have the discipline to act active, but you may have no vision, intuition, or receptivity, receptive, to allow ease and flow. You may plant thousands of seeds, but never wait for the harvest. If you operate with only receptive energy, you become a passive dreamer. You have beautiful, intuitive, and creative visions, receptive, but you lack the will or the discipline, active, to execute them. You wait for the universe to build your dream for you, but you never pick up the tools to initiate the cause. Manifesting a new reality requires you to utilize both forces. To create success, you must have the receptive capability to conceive the intuitive dream, combined with the active discipline to build it. When these two forces are in balance within your own consciousness, you become a potent creator, aligning your individual mind with the creative process of the universal consciousness. The synthesis, mastering the master key. Now that we have walked through the 7 halls of the Temple of Mysteries, how do we use this master key? You must realize that these principles do not work in isolation. They are a single, interconnected system. Mentalism tells us the universe is mind. Correspondence tells us how that mind reflects into our world. Vibration tells us how that mind moves. Polarity tells us how to shift that movement. Rhythm tells us when that movement happens. Cause and effect tells us we are responsible for the movement. And gender tells us how to create new movement. To be a Hermetic master is to live in constant awareness of these laws. It is to stop seeing the world as a collection of things and start seeing it as a collection of laws. When you encounter a problem, ask yourself, what is the correspondence here? What am I reflecting? What is the polarity? How can I slide the scale? What cause did I set in motion? This journey is not about reading these words once. It is about mental transmutation, the art of changing your mental state at will to align with the higher laws. The Emerald Tablet says, that which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below. To do the miracles of one only thing. You are that one only thing. You are the bridge between the spirit and the matter. You are the spark of the all, clothed in a human body, learning to wield the laws of your own creation. The lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. You have heard the truth today. Now, it is up to you to live it. The master key is in your hands. Do not just hold it. Use it. Open the doors. Step into your power. Become the master of your own reality.